right, Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Wakar Kadash, and Heavenly Father. True name is Yahweh, in His only begotten Son, Bahashem, in the name of Hamashiach Habashai. Those are the true names in the ancient Pelican Hebrew. The Lashkodash, the Holy Tongue. And I said Rakadam to the elders and apostles of Ba'akim, Ba'akwaf, and I say Shalom. And this is a sit down lesson of the prophecy updates as of February the 21st, 2026, on this Saturday afternoon. And as we've been seeing these economical wars, these trade wars between these nations, and this comes a day after the Supreme Court struck down on the president's global tariffs that he's been pushing ever since he's been in office, a year now. And this is a news article, February 21st, 2026, from RT.com. World News, and reads, Trump raises global tariffs to 15%. Because at first it was 10%, now he raised it to 15%. It says the U.S. Supreme Court has struck down most of the president's early tariffs. The U.S. President Donald Trump has announced an increase of its new global import tariffs from 10 to 15%. The moves came a day after the U.S. Supreme Court struck down on most of its tariffs, as the most imposed earlier. On Friday, the most highest court ruled that the 1977 International Emergency Economic Powers Act, IEEPA, does not give Trump the authority to impose what it described as a reciprocal tariff on most every country. The president responded by immediately introducing another 10% global tariffs under the separated legislation using the Trade Act in 1974. On Saturday, Trump said he would increase tariffs to the full allowed and legally tested 50% level. He denounced the court's decision as ridiculous, poorly written, and extraordinary anti-American. Trump says that the government will find ways to impose new and illegal permissible tariffs in the coming months. He had early posed a launching investigation into the potential unfair foreign trade practice that could lead to additional tariffs. And the 1974 law allows president to impose tariffs for 150 days. With any further an extension requiring congressional approval, acts about the matter on Friday, Trump told journalists we have the right to pretty do much whatever we want to do. Just like, if that's the case, other countries should impose tariffs on y'all as well too. Just like y'all impose tariffs on these other countries, as y'all countries that got y'all trade war partners against. Because you using tariffs on your own allies, just on the people that you don't get along with. If that's the case, other countries, they should have a right to use opposed tariffs on y'all as well too. Only to be fair, right? It says after returning to the White House last year, Trump imposed 25% tariffs on goods from Canada and Mexico, and later announced baseline 10% tariffs on many other countries he accused of ripping off the United States. He also sought to use measures and political leverage earlier this year to threaten some additional tariffs against European countries that opposed his plan to enter Greenland from Denmark. It's the book of Psalms. Because this is starting to catch up on Nero 47. Psalms. This man is ridiculous. Psalms 64 verse 8. He talk about they have a right to do whatever they want to do. If that's the case, other countries, they should have a right to do whatever they want to. Even though Esau is being, even though Esau is the hammer of the earth. Esau is the hammer of the whole earth. But at the same time, we starting to see these nations arise up against this war too, especially with these latest economical, I would say for the past 2.5 years. You've been seeing these economical wars be heating up, especially last year between these nations, even though they find some solutions to these tensions. But we definitely been seeing these economical wars, trade wars between these nations, especially like Canada in particular and other countries that he recently put tariffs on, like Mexico, Canada, and other countries, even his own allies that he put tariffs and sanctions on, economical tariffs. So we're going to see more increasing trade wars, tariff wars, especially between China and the United States, especially with this situation that's going on down there in the South China Sea. So I won't be surprised that I won't be surprised that the United States use sanctions and tariff and trade sanctions and chip technology sanctions on China, and China do the same thing against the United States. And these are two economical powerhouses. Because we're going to see that once again. It says that Psalm 64 verse 8, and they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves, and all them they shall flee away. Right, so Esau is made bare, and Esau is his tongue shall fall upon his own selves. Now he's trying to use 10 to 50% global tariffs on these countries. I wouldn't be surprised these other countries use tariffs on him as well too. Because as I was reading that comment, as I was reading that paragraph, he was saying that they have every right to do what they want to. If that's the case, hey, these other countries, they should have a right to put tariffs on. They should have a right to put tariffs on the countries that put tariffs on them. I mean, it's only to be fair, right? And this is Isaiah 10 and verse 1. It's the book of Isaiah 10 and verse 1. Yep, Isaiah 10 and verse 1. Woe unto them that decree unrighteous creeds, that right grievous which they have prescribed. Yep, woe unto them that do unrighteous creeds, and that's Esau, Edom. This is the book of Hebrews 12 and verse 16. Yep, Hebrews 12 verse 16. It said, least there be any fornication or profane person. So Esau, for more so he sold his birthright. Because Esau been blessed with the sword. He sold his birthright. So he been using it towards Jacob unjustly. And he been using it towards the nations unjustly. Especially economical wise with these trade wars, tariff wars. Because Esau is made bare, and his tongue shall fall upon his own self, and if he shall hate the whore, like it says in Revelation 17, verse 16. I just want to add a sad note. Yep, this is Mark 3 and verse 24. And if a kingdom be divided, except the kingdom not stand. Why? So the nation of Edom is still going to be divided, and we're seeing more signs of that. As it says again, Trump raised global tariffs to 15%. Now, these other countries that he's putting these global tariffs on, they have a right to use tariffs on the United States as well, too. That's only to be fair. It says 6 arrested at the clashes of UK anti-immigration rally. The British First Party held its march for registration, if I pronounced that right, in Manchester on Saturday. 6 people were arrested on Saturday in Manchester, Northwest England, after the anti-immigration demonstrators clashed with counter protesters. Police said thousands of people attended the March of Migration organized by Britain's first and right-wing party, demanding mass deportation of illegal immigrants. Many participated carrying British and English flags. It says counter protesters from groups including Stand Up to RACISM Manchester and the Resisting British First Coalition also gathered the streets to denounce immigration hardliners.
Being held at the moment. It's going off here. Get back! Get back! Oh, he's got a bat. Oh! pulled the flag. He's just grabbed hold of that flag, ripped it off. He just ripped hold of that flag. Horses coming across. They're going to grab him. 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 Oh, he's having a swingers with him. He's got a helmet on, this lad. He ain't getting nowhere, mate. How's he not been nicked? How's he not been nicked yet? How's he not been nicked yet? Talk about yourself, innit? All these police. How's he been nicked yet?
Oh, fucking cameras now. Let's do it.
How have they not been nicked? I don't know. I don't know. I've been nicked for a lot less than that. Uh-oh. We've got a whole load of people coming in here. These are in trouble now. They're in trouble now. They're in a lot of trouble now, and he knows it. It's written all over his face. It's written all over his face at the moment. He's right in trouble, he knows it. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. He's being run away from his own motor. He's over here. He's over here at the moment. Yeah, you're okay, you're okay, you're okay. I'm not interfering, mate. Don't worry about me. Don't worry about me. Yeah. He's been grabbed. He's been grabbed at the moment.
It says scuffles and fistfights break out between rival groups. It says Britain's first supporters accused the opponents of attempting to block the streets. Police intervened to break up the brawls. A video post on social media shows a group of protesters holding British flags, kicking a man on the ground. It says another video shows a protester punching a police officer. It says a Greater Manchester protest. Greater Manchester police spokesperson says at least people were 6 arrested in public disorder and breach of the peace. It says offenses including assaulting an emergency worker and breaching the spiritual notice. Multiple protesters have been held across the UK in recent years in response to the housing asylum seekers in the hotel at a high-profile SEXUL assault cases involving migrants in 2025. One of the 5 Britons named immigration as their top concern, according to the Gallup poll. It's the book of Luke. It's the book of Luke 21 and verse 25. And there shall be signs in the sun, and the moon, and the stars, and upon the earth distress of nations for perplexity, wretched one. And this is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 9. Second Ezra chapter 9 and verse 3. Therefore, when there should be seeing earthquakes for us people in the world, because I believe you had a 6.0 earthquake over there in the Solomon Islands, and the aftershock was a 4.6. And then we're gonna have the uproars of people in the world with the protesters over there in Britain. As said, 6 arrests as clashes at a UK anti-immigration rally. The Britain's first party held its march for remigration in Manchester on Saturday. And this is once again second edition anniversary. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people of the world. Second Edges 15 and verse 15. For the sword and destruction draweth nigh, and one people should stand up and fight against another with swords in hands, right, with the protesters, uproars, and seditions among the nations that we see on a day-to-day basis. Verse 16. For there shall be sedition among men, debating one another. They shall not regard their kings or their princes, and cause accident of power. Fist fighting with police officers, disorderly conduct, as it was saying over there in Great Britain, with the protests take place over there. Because you got the opposing side protesting against the protesters that's holding Great Britain flags, and the others that's pro-immigration, and then there's others anti-immigration. So you have those protesters over there in Great Britain, of Manchester over there in London. Once again, this is the book of Luke. Matter of fact, Matthew's. Yeah, this book of Matthew's 24 verse 7. For nation shall rise against nation. That's what we're seeing with protesters, uproars, people in the world. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. Which goes to Ethnos. And there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places. It says, this is Wars and Rumors of Wars. It says Moscow warned Seoul against sending weapons to Kiev. South Korea is reportedly considering joining a NATO arms purchase program for Ukraine. It says South Korea potentially in participation in a NATO scheme to fund arms purchase for Ukraine would seriously damage relations with Moscow. Russian Foreign Minister spokesperson has said that the South Korean media reports that Seoul is considering the plan. The scheme is known as prioritized Ukraine requirements listed of the PURL was launched last August in involvements European NATO members buying a preliminary U.S.-made weapons for Kyiv. In January, it says Ukraine, Vladimir Zelensky complained that his country European backers was too slow to commit funding to the initiative, even though publicly disclosed figures show that 4.3 billion has been allocated to the plan by December. It says the government has continued to consult the NATO over the various measures to support Ukraine. A South Korean foreign minister officials told the Yonhap news agencies Friday that the bloc itself sold to join the PURL, according to the Korean Times. So I'm going to read all the rest of that. This is Matthews 24 verse 6. And you should hear of wars and rumors of wars. Right, so these are signs of wars and rumors of wars. This is Matthews 24 verse 6. And you should hear of wars and rumors of wars. You know, as we've been seeing the tensions ongoing between Russia and Ukraine. And then, you know, the tensions been heating up between Belarus and Russia together versus the European Union and NATO. You should hear of wars and rumors of wars, right? Tensions heating up over there in Korean Peninsula, North Korea versus South Korea, Japan, United States. You should hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you be not in trouble with all these things. Must rush come to pass, but then it's not yet. This is the prophet Joel. Matter of fact, Ecclesiasticus instead. Ecclesiasticus chapter 3, verse 1. To everything there is a season and a time of every purpose of heaven. Right, so within these modern day times and seasons and every purpose of heaven. Go to verse 8. In a time to love, in a time of HATE, in a time of war, time of peace. Right, so we're living in a time of HATE, in a time of war. So that's going to go continue to increase. All right, let's get to some more prophecy updates. It says report saying Ukraine attacked a Russian missile factory. Yeah, wars and rumors of wars between Russia and Ukraine. It says largest military building up since 2003 raises prospect of a multi-week strike on Iran. Right, wars and rumors of wars between Iran and the United States. Former DSH officials Trump warning to Iran. Yeah, wars and rumors of wars. It says this is from the UPI. NATO ally agreed to manufacture low-cost drones to counter Russia. Right, tensions heating up between NATO and its allies versus Russia. So wars and rumors of wars. Check another website. Check out Time of Israel. It says report from Namim Lehumania, Lehuman, if I pronounce his name right. And this is from a news article from Time of Israel. It says Israel. It says according to a report, the IRGC, which the IRGC is running Hezbollah preparing its for war with Israel if U.S. strikes Iran. Israel says to see Hezbollah preparing a rocket fire capability in a recent IDF strike says aimed at degrading them. An anti-Hezbollah outlet, quote, political sources say that the Beirut must declare neutrality. It says Israeli strike in Lebanon unalive at least 12, including a senior Hezbollah official. It says ICE claimed to attacks on Syrian armies after calling its opposing to its government. Right up or distress of nations with perplexity, nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom. This is the prophet Joel. As the pro-Iranian groups potentially on standby to fully support the pro-Iranian groups to support Iran, while the tensions are heating up between Iran and Israel Defense Force, as the Israel Defense Force potentially preparing for a potential strike from the Israel Defense Force if potentially the Israel Defense Force is gathered up military deployment over there in Golden Heights in that region and over there in Israel of a potential strike from the pro-Iranian groups. This in case if Iran gets attacked by either the United States armies or the Israel Defense Force armies. This is the prophet Joel, chapter 3 and verse 9. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war. Wake up the mighty man, let all the men of war draw near, and let them come up. Right, so as the nations continue to be gathered up over there in Western Asia, Joel 3 verse 10, beat your plowshares and the swords and the plenty hoods and the spears, and let the weak say I'm strong. Right, let the weak say I'm strong, as it says again. It says the IRGC, Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, is running Hezbollah, preparing it for war with Israel if U.S. strikes Iran. Yep, Joel 3 verse 10, beat your plowshares and swords and opponents and spears, and let the weak say I'm strong. This is the book of Revelations 11 verse 14. The second won't pass, behold, the third will coming quickly. Right, so the second won't pass, behold, the third will coming quickly. So hopefully this prophecy updates was edifying as of February 21st, 2026 on this Saturday afternoon. So with that, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem, Warkar Kadash, and the Heavenly Father, the true name is Yahweh, and His only begotten Son, Ba'ashem, in the name of Hamashiach, Yahweh Shai. Those are their true names in ancient Paleo Hebrew, the lost from God's holy tongue. And I say, rock thumb to the elders and apostles, Wa'akim, Wa'akwa, for the next time. I would say, Shalom.